Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We're having a look at another Devblog for War Thunder, and this is for the Su-33. This is the new naval fighter that is coming into the USSR for rank 8 of the game. It's also a squadron vehicle, surprisingly, so you'll be able to research this through the squadron research setup and get a very high vehicle in the rank and also BR pretty easily by just playing the game in other areas. Another thing to also note is the dev streams are happening today, so check out the live stream either on YouTube or on Twitch, and we're going to be going through both of them, the English one and the Russian one, and also there's probably going to be a dev server, so guess what, we're going to cover that too. So stay tuned, there's going to be a lot going on today, and everything's going to be moving around all over the place. Anyway, let's get into the history of the Su-33, and as always, if you enjoy the channel, make sure to subscribe. Let's get started. The program to create a new carrier-based fighter based on the Su-27 began in the early 1980s in connection with plans to build a heavy aircraft carrier, the Project 1143-5. In 1984, a decree was issued to create a new carrier-based fighter. Serial production began in 1989 at KNAAPO. The first flight of the Su-33 took place in February of 1990. Testing dragged on until 1994 due to the collapse of the USSR and financial difficulties, and by the time, only 24 aircraft had been produced. In 1995, aircraft carrier Admiral Kuznetsov, with the Su-33 on board, set out on a long ocean voyage to the Mediterranean for the first time. The Su-33's baptism of fire took place from November 2016 to January 2017, when the Admiral Kuznetsov carried out combat missions as part of the Russian Navy's Far-Off Maritime Zone Task Force off the coast of Syria. So the Su-33 coming in also brings us a new carrier, which is really cool. The Admiral Kuznetsov is turning up, and if you don't know, over the last few years, Gaijin has actually been adding in more and more of these carriers, whether it's the updated World War II ones or the modern ones. And there's always this question whether they're ever going to be usable in the game. Well, I'm pretty sure this one will just be in the test drive for now, and probably some sim maps, but overall, with more models, there's always going to be more pressure to add them in more playable ways. We're going to have a look at it on the dev server, hopefully, so you can see how it is, and I generally am looking forward to seeing the vehicle in general, like extra things in War Thunder, like extra pieces like the aircraft carriers and their updated models is why I enjoy War Thunder so much, because there isn't just an emphasis on the vehicles, there's also an emphasis on making you feel like you are there in the battle with other areas. Now the Su-33 itself, it's a navalized version of the Su-27 platform, so there's a few things that are slightly different in terms of how it's built, but it really isn't that different in terms of how it's going to play in the game. The major difference is this vehicle doesn't get access to active radar homing missiles. Instead, this one is stuck with IR missiles, where it will get the all-aspect R-73s, which of course are very, very powerful. It also will have a HMD, which you can use with them, and then on top of that, it will have access to semi-active radar homing missiles, the R-27s, in the form of the R-27ER. So it will have that long-range component. It also has a very modern radar and informative RWR as well to try and help you out. It also has the R-27ET, which once again is a very good missile on this vehicle, and it has the 12 hardpoints, so you can carry a lot of missiles just like the other Su-27 and other platforms that are similar. The major problem with this though is without the active radar homing element, you won't be able to engage as well a lot of the vehicles that this will face, because this is still going to be a very high BR vehicle, right? Like, it's still going to be at the top of the matchmaker, especially since it's got some very powerful stuff, and that's going to put you at a general disadvantage compared to what you're going to be fighting. Now, eventually, with BR decompression and more vehicles being added, that will decompress and you'll eventually be a top dog in the meta, but I don't think the Su-33 will come out as one in the game. It also has a lot of the other standard stuff from the SU series, so it has the countermeasures, it has the same gun, I believe, and it also doesn't really have great secondary kind of bomb ordnance, which just seems a bit weird to me. Looks like this vehicle is, at least in War Thunder, a lot more focused around the air-to-air side of things, which kind of sucks if I'm honest. I would prefer it to be a little bit more multi-role, since if you actually have a look at the vehicle in real life, it did have access to quite a lot of features that would make it like that. But instead in War Thunder, you have a load of conventional bombs, such as incendiary bombs, drag bombs, regular dumb bombs too, and then also the S5 and the S250s. So it'll still be able to overpressure stuff pretty well, but there's no mention of guided munitions, so no like anti-ship missiles, no guided bombs, anything like that, but we'll have to see when it comes to the game. They're obviously emphasizing the air-to-air capabilities of this with the 12 weapon hardpoints, and hopefully that will be fine for people. Now, since this is a squadron vehicle, this also opens up another door. We've had so many squadron vehicles in the last few updates. I feel they've got to change the way that squadron vehicles are going to be researched, or they're going to have to enhance it in some way. We got 3 in the September update, we got 3 in the November update, was it? And now we have at least 1 in this December update with the Su-33. So it's going to take years to be able to research all of these, if you are even in a very active squadron. So I wonder if they have some plans with World War Mode to change up the system that you research these stuff, or at least get some kind of enhanced research for them. Otherwise, people are going to be sat on them for years. And maybe that's the idea. Maybe these vehicles are supposed to be ones where you don't get them instantly, and instead you just kind of research them over time and sort them out like that, and, you know, that means that you have something to look forward to. And maybe that's the case. For me, I've always liked the idea of squadron vehicles being more mid-tier vehicles, so people can get into the squadron stuff and then, you know, play them in general with a lot of the lineups that they have. But one of the emphases that we've seen recently is more high-tier stuff, because that seems to be the place that people really enjoy, or at least are focused on getting to, and therefore the squadron vehicles kind of go after that. My main gripe with this type of vehicle is it reminds me of the kind of high tier or top tier premiums that you get, where it's just a step below the current meta. So when you actually play it, you are just going up against stuff that's fundamentally better than you, and until the BRs, as I said, get decompressed, then you're just going to get smashed in the face. And that's just not really that fun, if I'm honest. It's something that, you know, a lot of people have to be cognizant of. It's just not a great time. So just make sure that you understand that as you go in. But yeah, the Su-33 coming in, plus other vehicles that we'll find out today. We'll make sure to have a look for you on all of the streams. We'll be live streaming on YouTube and also Twitch, so you can check it out either there or here, but just understand, it's going to be a pretty busy day. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.